welcome back. The goal of this video is to take a look at the funding options in South Africa, as well as how that's applicable on Streetchef and the way forward for Streetchef. So your 4 basic funding options comes down to bootstrapping, which is being resourceful, using what you can, doing what you can to get the business off the ground. That's also Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak's method when they started Apple. Your second option is your asset finance or your import-export finance. That's when you have an asset that you want to purchase that will make your business money. Makes absolute sense. The third option is your contract tender finance. You basically have won the contract or the tender and you just need the operational expenses to execute. And your last option is your equity finance. That's where you give power away for capital to build the brand, or you give shares away for capital to build your business. Just a quick side note again, never get funding for your operational expenses or your salary. You will dig your own grave. All right. So Ntando, from your side and Streetchef, what was your past thoughts on funding and how has that changed since we last had a conversation about funding?
So initially, I believe I got a massive reality check because I assumed that you just have a great idea and then you access a channel or funding institution or an individual who's looking to invest in your business, be it venture capital or an institution. And you say, hey, I've got this great idea. I need X amount. Can you give me the money? But it does not work like that. The reason I say that is because firstly, you need a track record. You need to keep track of, your financial statements in terms of, is this a viable, investable business? So when the institution or the individual puts money into the business, it's not just a matter of, first, before you think of return on investment, will they get a return of their investment? So the money they put in, will they get it back? Before they even look at, am I going to make more on that money? But now, obviously, having had that conversation, understand that's not how it works. You need to consider those factors. People are not going to fund a good idea. People fund a good business, which makes money and can help them to make more money on their money, which is known as return on their investment.
Sure, indeed. So in the past, what options did you consider for Streetchef?
So we considered equity financing, where we would give away X amount of our business in return for funding to develop our platform and invest into that.
And where's that process currently at now? Sitting here, you need to develop a quite expensive platform and app. What's your options going forward?
So our current option, based on the conversation we've had recently, is we've realized that we would enter into partnership with a software company where they would develop the platform for us. And then what would happen is that after the development cycle is over, the platform would then be operational for a period of approximately 24 months, where after that period, evaluation would be done, where we would then determine how much equity they would get based on the valuation of the business at that moment in time. So after a period of 3 years. And the reason why we went for that approach is because we realized if we can have a conversation around giving away equity too soon, it will most likely cannibalize how much equity we currently have as the 3 shareholders. And therefore, we need to, obviously, for the business to generate enough value so that we don't give away the entire business before we actually get to the relevant series of funding. And we actually, when we get to the end of that cycle, we don't own the business anymore.
Indeed. So some serious thoughts that Ntando needs to consider and the other shareholders needs to consider going forward. Equity finance is not all moonshine and roses. All right, you're giving power away, you're giving authority away, which means other people now have a say in your business. And that is sometimes a bitter pill to swallow because the vision can get gray the moment that happens. So some serious thoughts, serious questions you got to ask yourself when it comes to funding. Me personally, I'm a bit of a control freak, so I won't necessarily give shares away for funding. I would rather just cut my own salary, invest back into my business, and build the foundation slowly but surely. Different strokes for different folks. You need to make up your mind when it comes to funding. My suggestion is that you use one of the 4 options that I've given you, because those are the ones that makes the most sense. I will see you guys in the next video.